Thank you, everyone. So my name is Rehan Sadiq, and I'm an Executive Associate Dean, School of Engineering. Welcome, everybody, for our first student town hall, undergrad student town hall. The idea was that we wanted to have this event so that we can provide a little bit more information to our undergrad students. Especially now we are very close to the exams, there might be some questions. So we try to address, if we don't have many questions from the students, we will try to disseminate as much information as possible because we have some ideas. We see that we are constantly getting those inquiries through our advising office. So we'll try to address that. Before I start, I like to introduce my panelists, my colleagues here. So I try to gather all the school leadership and the people who are directly engaged in providing support to our students, undergrad students, as well as some academic support, advising and academic support. So we have with me, please raise your hand when I call your name. So it's Dr. Amina Hufar, who's the school's director. And then we have Rene Lebeau, who is our senior advisor.
Yan, associate director for school engineering.
And then we move to program coordinators.
Hello, my name is Dimitra Isidiaka, and I'm mechanical program coordinator.
My name is Dwayne Tannant, the Civil Engineering Program Coordinator.
Okay, and Julian Chang has already introduced himself. So, and we have another student advisor, Patty, and then we have Jennifer Eberly from our co-op. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. And so one of the things which I'd like to share some of my personal experience, what's been happening, what I understand, this is the finishing third week of our so-called social distancing and isolating ourselves. So first, I'd like to thank all of you, not only our faculty, but also all the students. This is unprecedented situation we all facing, and not even anybody in my generation or maybe older generation have seen this kind of a thing. And once it happened, we tried our best to respond to this situation. So we were told technically on one weekend that we are going online. And you can imagine when we have this situation arises. So I'm very glad to report that, everybody rose to the occasion and did their best to address these challenges, what we are all facing, and the stress and anxiety all of us are going through. So I can imagine in many cases for students, these challenges are even much more complicated. Many of our students are not from the town. Their family were worried. They end up going back to their homes, or many of them maybe are still in Okanagan, and plus many international students who are in different time zones. So it was quite a complex situation, and we tried our best to address. During this thing, we are learning a lot as well. So it's a process in which we are trying to address the issue, but as well as we are trying to learn and getting a constant feedback from our students. And one of the message we have given to our faculty to show flexibility in the situation. And you have seen that a series of communications which you have received, you might be overloaded with those communications, but we are trying to adapt to the situation as is an evolving situation. The time we are in, the only thing certain is uncertainty. And so we have to make sure that we address that in a very resilient manner and show our nimbleness and flexibility to the situation. So I'm like anybody else, sitting in their homes and working from home, and we can see the pressures on everyone in terms of the anxiety it has created and social distancing, which we all miss to work. We enjoy working with each other and interacting with each other. That part is definitely missing. But I can ensure all of you, the way we have worked very hard in past 3 weeks or 4 weeks time to address this or address this challenge. And we try to get as much information as much possible in terms of the either the financial support availability or emergency support availability, in terms of some challenges we have seen from the students. There will be different messaging coming out of different professors. You can see that the courses are different. And in recent time, we have addressed those things through our series of communication. And and our staff has been very diligent in putting that information on our frequent FAQs and making sure that all the latest information is there. So I highly encourage all of you, all the students, to make sure that they get a chance. That is your best source of information. Any other information you are looking for, I encourage you to talk to Renee, and that information flows to us one way or another, and we are trying to address that. But one thing which is very relevant now, we have done is a town hall already at the applied science level. And what my understanding is that we wanted to have something similar for our undergraduate students, because some of the things are different from our perspective. So now we are entering, next week, we are entering in a different phase, which is examination situation. And there are lots of questions, and we have been communicating to our professors on general principles. There might be differences in different courses you will experience, the way you will conduct your exams, but we are showing flexibility as much as it possible. So as a next step, I will ask my colleagues to just tell a little bit where we are now under their portfolio, and then we open up the questions. If you have any questions, please put it on the chat on the chat box, and then we will get the questions and we try to address, and I will try to moderate as the person who's relevant. I will call his or her name and give them opportunity to answer your questions. So first, I would like to ask Dr. Hoofer to go ahead and talk a little bit about where we are now.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sadiq. Again, I wanted to echo what Dr. Sadiq mentioned, how proud I am of our students and our faculty members that quickly they changed the style of teaching and attendance to the classroom. I know it's very hard time for everybody. The part that I wanted to emphasize in a couple of minutes given to me is about the projects, especially for the third year and fourth year students. Aside from the capstone, and also in addition to capstone, we try to make sure faculty members extend the deadline of their projects, but not to the point that bleeds into their final exam. We understand that the final exam is starting 14 or 13 of April. There is a time that we should not have any project bleed into it. So if there is any extension you wanted to have, we're very flexible, but no major project should be done during the final exam. Of course, having said that, you can complete your projects during any time you want. We try to ask faculty members to be very flexible in terms of the submission deadline if the student requires. If the student asks that let's just have it till such a date, I think we should do that kind of condition for that. So that's for the projects, and the faculty members trying to create a very clear guideline for the projects. Hopefully those guidelines are not coming as overwhelming as the student feel, because there are lots of pieces of information this time of the year is coming towards you, in addition to the online teaching and the videos. But if you have any question and concern, please contact the instructor of the course. Make sure that you know what you're doing in terms of your project. And if still there's any other question, Dr. Chow and myself, we can help you with that. Again, regarding the project, we are very flexible in terms of the deadline, and whatever works with you, we like to work with you. Thank you. So I think the next person is, I turn it to Dr. Chow to talk about other aspects that we've been working on.
Thank you, Dr. Hoofer. I just want to emphasize what student probably most interested, which is the exams, exam grades, exam format, and the credit DF withdrawal options that you can select after exam grades were posted. I'm pretty sure that all of the instructors by now have posted their instructions on the format of the final exam. Basically, that means whether it's a 24-hour take-home exam or less than 24-hour, or it's a Canvas quiz-based final exam. No matter what type of exams the instructors have decided to do, we have asked everybody to consider enough buffer time for students to scan their answers and upload back to Canvas. So if you have any concerns specifically for any course about the type of the format exam, please let us know, and I will get back to the instructor and then make appropriate adjustments. The other thing is for exam, and I hope everybody actually, we ask every instructor to do a integrity pledge. So I hope every student, this is actually a mandatory, you must answer the question integrity pledge before you start the final exam. And this is an honor-based system. And I trust everyone will honor it back with their professional engineering professionalism and academic integrity. We will have a marked meeting for all of the courses, and all of the exam grades will be available by May 2nd or May 3rd. And then you will have an option to make a decision whether you want to use a credit a D or F for this course. And at the same time, you also have an option for withdrawal. And the deadline of that is May 6th. An important message for students: if you have troubles with the exam during the exam period, for whatever reason, internet, computer, if you cannot finish, if you have trouble uploading, so make sure that you do not submit, and you can also always apply for standard deferred exam. And the selection of a credit DF, University Enrollment Office will provide a detailed instruction FAQs pretty soon, I believe, in terms of implications of that. So there are some implications. For example, if you apply for maybe a graduate school or scholarship, so there might potentially be implications, but rest assured, your grades will not be discarded. Your grades is still within the UBC system. So we can always pull it out if necessary. University also has important message board that you can also rely on, right? The last resource, or not the least, you can always come back to instructor for clarification. So that's all I have on my end.
Morning, everyone. I just wanted to follow up to Dr. Chow's information and let you know I did speak to Enrollment Services regarding the CRDF FAQs that will be sent via email to students next week. So those of you wondering implications on scholarships or grad school or transfer applications, all of that information will be available next week. So please watch your email for that. In addition, summer classes, our office has been getting a lot of inquiries about summer class availability. Due to the fact that Term 1 will be online, all summer classes are open. We've opened a ton of seats, so if you're interested in summer classes, please register. Everything is on the SSC. I think that's it from my end. Dr. Chow and Dr. Horfer and Dr. Sadiq covered most everything, so thank you.
Thanks, Renee. So I will request now at this point, maybe starting from Julian, about electrical engineering update. Any update you would like to give at this point?
Just an update that we have our own machine learning course recently approved by the UBCO Senate. So this is a kind of a first of its kind. This course will be offered by engineering faculty in Canada. So along with this new course, so that's a 4th-year course. And all we require is a 4th-year engineering standing for enrollment in that course. We also introduced new courses on artificial intelligence for wireless robotics, deep learning, and reinforcement learning. These courses will be for graduate students only, but undergraduate students can take them. Finally, I'd like to let everybody know I'm quite accessible on a short notice if you want to have a meeting with me. So I'm available to discuss about your specialization, elective course selection, as well as your plan for graduate studies, either with us or somewhere else. So, so that would be all from my end.
Thanks, Dr. Chang. Now I move to Dr. Tennant.
I guess I wanted to start first by saying, you know, we're all engineers, and engineers are problem solvers. And so this little challenge that we're facing is simply just another a problem that we're going to solve. And I have this impression that things are proceeding as normally as possible under the circumstances. And so in terms of the civil program, some issues that might be of interest to the students. We have a new option that's rolling out this year called the Resilient Infrastructure Management Program. And associated with that, there will be new courses offered in 4th year to students that want to take that option and have that option noted on their transcript. And, you know, this COVID-19 event may last into the summer or possibly, in worst case scenario, into the fall. And we are already working to adjust our schedules, our labs, so that we can continue to offer the education that we always have offered, but in a different format. So I don't think there needs to be any sense of panic. We just have to be a little bit flexible, and engineers are always a bit flexible in adapting to the circumstances and dealing with online instruction, online communications with faculty and your peers, and working as groups and design projects. So I think we could probably pull together and manage all of this with not too much difficulty. That's all I have to say.
Thanks, Dr. Tennant. Now we move to Dr. Dimitri for mechanical program.
Well, hello all. My colleagues have summarized the situation quite well, and I don't want to repeat bits of information which have already been delivered. The only thing I want to say that the School of Engineering as a whole, all instructors, faculty, and the leadership team, doing everything we can to mitigate the situation the best way possible, to minimize the stress and inconveniences to our students. You have been communicated all the arrangements that have been done for the final exams, and I hope it fits well with everybody. We are looking into the way how we teach through the summer and how we teach starting in September, looking into all possible scenarios. So there are many activities happening, but regardless of this, if you have any question, personal or related to teaching summer programs, please feel free to communicate to any one of us, starting with our excellent engineering advising team. At any point of time, feel free to reach out to me. I always say to my students, you know where to find me. Now it's even more so. Feel free to shoot me an email, and I'm good responding to students' email. If you want to have a personal communication, we can arrange a Skype call or Zoom call. So at any point of time, don't hesitate to reach out. That's all for me.
Thank you very much, Dimitri. Now moving to Dr. Najran from manufacturing program.
Thank you very much. And I can just reiterate what my colleague said. Manufacturing program is our newest program. And I think we were just trying to shape this, and then we went to the life support system now. And I think that's going to impose new challenges. But the good news is the program is new, therefore we can shape it to be more resilient. I can echo what my colleague said. I'm available at any time to address the concerns of the students and what the program needs to move forward from now on.
Thanks, Dr. Najran. So you heard from all our academic leaders here. And now I ask, just one second. Okay, so I'm sure many of you are registered in co-op program, and as you see that we are living in a new reality, I will request Dr. Everly to just tell a little bit about what's the latest with which is relevant information for our co-op students.
Yeah, thanks, Rehan. So for co-op students, good news. We have eased the requirements for students to receive co-op credit this summer. So normally students would have to work a minimum of 12 weeks in order to receive co-op credit. We've actually loosened it down to 8 weeks as the minimum required for co-op. Additionally, we've pushed back the start date. So students could start a co-op work term as late as July 6th. and have it count for co-op credit. So we're hoping that will provide some additional flexibility to our employers as they readjust to this sort of new normal of remote working, social distancing. As well, a lot of the funding programs have adapted as well, and will also support co-op students who are working shorter work terms. So through the Student Work Placement Program, as well as Innovate BC, their funding program for co-op employers. So if any students have questions about their job search or the impacts of COVID-19 or their co-op work term, they most certainly should reach out to me with any questions that they may have.
Thanks, Jennifer. Patty, do you want to add something here from the advising?
I think it's all been said, so thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Few items before we open for the questions. One thing is that, as you might have heard, that we already announced about the term 1 of summer. It will be online. And if you have any specific question about the courses, you please reach out to Renee about the summer 1 program, summer term 1. Summer 2 hasn't been announced yet, and we are still looking, and as like anybody else, seeing the situation, what is best for our students, and from the safety perspective, as well as what is good for our professor. The one thing which I also like to bring, which Dr. Cheng mentioned about the for our first year student who are going into second year about for their specialization. I believe that information will be out by 15th June, if I'm correct. So Renee, can you speak on that, on specialization option?
So specialization, we're going to be releasing the video here within the next few weeks, and the form will be available by the end of April, and students will have a few weeks to submit their specialization requests prior to year 2 registration. A common question that our office is receiving is coming in from our year 1 students who are considering a transfer to UBC Vancouver for year 2 placement. UBC Vancouver Applied Science is evaluating their process for handling those applications, given the change to the grading scheme of CRDF and how those files will be evaluated. I expect that we'll be hearing from them within the next few weeks, so by the end of April. And once we hear from Vancouver, then we'll send an email to all year 1 students regarding that application being open, and as well how those standings will impact your application to Vancouver. I don't think there was any other topics that haven't been touched on, so I don't know if anyone else has any further information to share.
Yeah, so on the specialization side, I'd like to add a little bit here as well. I know that being part of our faculty's executive team, I heard that the challenge in Vancouver is a bit different than specialization in here, because we don't have any cutoffs. So it's very easy for us to, because as far as students are meeting the minimum requirements, students can select any options where they would like to do it. But I also like to use this as an opportunity to promote our manufacturing program, because electrical, mechanical, and civil are existing, have been in business for some time, and students have a lot of clarity about those programs. I highly encourage students who are kind of thinking about mechanical or electrical options, they should seriously think about manufacturing as a potential option. And you have any specific question, please reach out to Dr. Najran on that. That is extremely important for us, because we are just in the second year of our program, and we are really looking for really high quality students. Other thing which I like to mention here, which Dr. Tennant have touched upon a little bit, that slowly we are building some more specializations and minors in our school. So we like to see our students are getting more, getting benefit of opting for those options. So I highly encourage you to please talk to program coordinators, what are the possibilities, how they can look into their program and adding those specializations to their program. And also talk to the program coordinators and Renee for that information. So at this point, if we don't have any specific question, I will definitely, let's see something there. Renee, can you mention a little bit about summer registration, please?
Yeah, so we have received a few student inquiries regarding registering in course conflicts between APSI and ENGR courses. Dr. Chow has approved course conflicts given the online format, but again, that is just specific to our department. So if you are taking any courses, let's say in computer science, you would need to connect with the instructor in computer science to approve any conflicts between those classes.
Okay. At this point, I would like to ask panel if there's any specific information we need to share with our students, because I was expecting very low, not many students joining because we're just before the exams, but this information will be on different social media networks. So I think it's very valuable information. If you think that something can be shared, I'm talking to a whole panel, please feel free so that will be relayed to everybody in our student body. So please, floor is open for all the panelists if they want to jump in. Go ahead, Dr. Hurfar.
So I just wanted to talk about, by now, all of the faculty members should have communicated with the students about the format of their final exam. And as we send an email to student and faculty, each faculty has different modes of the final exam, but the students should be very clear by now what mode of the final exam they're going to have, when it's the start time of the final exam, when is the duration of the final exam. Especially if you are part of this DRC, the faculty member should have already worked out with DRC what kind of accommodation is going to be. If you haven't heard from the faculty member, please make sure you reach out to them and make sure that you are very clear before getting to the final season, because I know that in addition to other things, that is one more thing in your mind. So make sure that the messages are being transferred to you.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Dr. Tennant.
So I think a key message is that, what we have done, we will continue to do. So our future will be no different than our past. We're not dropping any courses. We're not dropping any programs. In fact, we are in the process of expanding our course offerings, expanding the types of technical electives and design elective courses that we will be giving. We're adding new options. And so from this perspective, what's happening here at UBC Okanagan is quite different than perhaps, the airline industry or the cruise ship industry, or who knows, the hospitality industry. We are able to withstand and move forward through the challenges of COVID-19 and to make sure that our education mandate is met. And I think that's should be a comforting and a positive message to students. There's probably no better time to be at university working on education, because you can do that from anywhere in the world and any room in your house.
Thanks, Dr. Tennant. I'd like to ask this question to Dr. Hurfar about, can you speak a little bit on capstone project, because its grading is very clear, because students still have to get the grades in it. Can you talk a little bit what's the latest with capstone project?
The capstone is the only design project in the fourth year or in our school or in the upside that you won't get the CRDF. Basically, there will be grade associated with it. Unfortunately, we're supposed to meet for the capstone final today, but this is not going to happen. Apparently, the students are going to send their design by video, and it will be marked by faculty member and another group of faculty members, their report and their video. And from there, you're going to have the percentage of the capstone. So that is the information I have from Dr. Kenneth Chow regarding the capstone. Dr. Chow, Yang Chow, have you heard anything extra?
No, I think students are actually still working diligently on their projects. They are making video presentation to be judged by industry partners. The deadline for capstone, as you said, yes, it's actually April 12th. So it's all going on as smooth as possible. And it might be a little challenge to work remotely, collaboratively among students, but I think they're getting it done. I saw a question from Wayne about the duration of the exam. I just want to address the duration. Now, there's a difference between the duration that exam can be accessed and the actual duration of the exam. So we have informed our faculty, even though this is a 24-hour accessibility, it doesn't mean that you are giving student a 24-hour long exam. The exam is still going to be designed as a regular 3-hour in-person exam. So, which means if I design a 3-hour exam, I expect the student maybe the load of the question to be finished within 2.5 or 3 hours exam. So it's not going to be additional amount of questions, right, to fill out the 24-hour time frame. The 24-hour time frame is only for student to access, in consideration some student in the different time zones, and also the time it takes to scan or upload back to a Canvas.
Thanks, Chang. Let me see if we don't have any other questions. So this is the last opportunity for a panelist to say something. Otherwise, I would like to thank everybody, and then we can close the session if there's no more question here. Is there any other important point which we haven't addressed yet? This is my question to all panelists.
Rehan, I just want to, this is what I mentioned to my student in my class. This is a very critical time. The exam period is 2.5 weeks or close to 3 weeks. So this is an important time that I encourage everybody to stay home, stay healthy, at least to pull through this critical period, finish out exams, and then we get our stress relieved during the summer, right? So make sure everybody stay healthy.
For the projects, we really expect you go follow the social distancing. So your projects, if they are group projects, make sure that it's all done online with your group members. These days, there are lots of social media or social way of connecting through online way. You should not meet in person. This is what we do not want. If the project requires in any way in-person meeting, you need to communicate with your faculty member, the instructor ASAP, because that is not what we're expecting, and that should not be the case. So make sure that social distancing still is followed for the projects, group projects.
Just wanted to remind all students that our advising office is here to support you through exams. So please connect with us via soe.advising@ubc.ca. We are also available for appointments, the online portal. So please book with our advisors if you need to connect with somebody. And our SOE advising website has all forms available if you need to apply for standing deferred for your final exam. So just to reemphasize that we're here to help you in any way you need. Thank you.
Thanks, Renee. And so it looks like we have covered most of the things which we wanted to say. And so one thing which I emphasize here, that though university is not physically open, but it is open. All of us are working on a regular day. So you can reach out to us through emails or through any other possible way you can think of. It's in this time and age. We will be very happy to respond to your needs. And I reiterate what you said about your safety and health. This is extremely important, the situation what we are in now. And one very important thing is that stress part, I like to emphasize that it start having its own impact, especially on the mental health. And when we have less and less social interaction, it sometimes creeping up this pressure on everybody. So I wish you all the best for your exams, and encourage you to follow the protocols, and don't hesitate to ask question if you think that something is what we are mentioning here as hasn't been done in that specific course. It's different. So because we are relying on communicating with our professors, certain protocols, we are not policing any specific person or so, but we appreciate something which is what we said, what we put it on our website is not followed. We kindly reach out to Renee or me or this whole team. So we will make sure that whatever we have made in making a promises, we meet those promises. So at this point, I would like to say thank you again, all the panelists, And I wishing you all the best to all my students to do well in the exams. And hopefully we all pass through this tough time together. Thank you very much. Take care, everybody. Bye.